I am filming this video almost exactly 10 years after I had my last drop of alcohol. In this video, I want to show you the science of what alcohol does to your body physics-wise, how it affects your muscle growth and how it affects your fat loss, and also how it affects your health. So it's been 10 years for me. Cheers! Calm down, it's just tea. Hello and welcome to another video on this channel. My name is Alex. I'm a PhD in sports science with a doctorate in psychology. And I'm also a trumpet player and hobby musician. And being a musician in Austria is sometimes linked to Austria's culture of drinking. Playing at certain events has people buy you drinks after drinks if you want to. So you have access to a lot of alcohol. This is what this video is about. I want to answer the question whether alcohol is bad or good for muscle growth and fat loss. But before we dive in, please support this channel and leave a like, comment below, share the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I need your support to make this channel explode here on YouTube. Thank you so much. What's more, as you know, I am the author of the fitness blog Turn. You can find it on turnphysique.com. And there you can also find the according articles on alcohol. I've written 2 of them where I give you a lot of references on the science of alcohol. So if you want the deep dive into the science, you might also want to have a look at the articles. Now, let's start with alcohol. At first, I want to give you a little impression about my own drinking history and how I stopped drinking. As I told you, I'm a hobby musician. I played the trumpet in a marching band and previously I have also played in some other bands. The thing is, in Austria, if you're a musician and if you're playing several gigs, people are actually buying drinks for you and putting them on stage. So there are a lot of opportunities for you to drink alcohol and there is almost constant access to alcohol for you. For me, back then, this was just normal. When I was in the army around 2010, we also had a lot of beer just after work because socializing and beer was just what was normal for us. And this was also the time when I added 10 kilograms of body fat to my body within a year. After that, I got addicted to cardio and I lost a lot of fat again. You can see my training history in my previous video on the channel. However, during this time when I was cardio addicted, I also learned a lot about nutrition and training, and I slowly shifted my training towards lifting and weight training. During this time, I also read a lot about alcohol and I figured out that it might actually just be bad for my body. So I first decided to just drink on special occasions, such as my birthday or Christmas. However, later, I somewhat knew that this wasn't sustainable for me. So I made the decision to stop drinking altogether. And that's actually a funny story because the marching band was driving to a gig and I was sitting in the last row of the bus. And the first round of beers was just given to all the members. And I received also a beer, had a look at the beer, looked at the eyes of my colleagues and loudly said, "Okay guys, you know what? I'm quitting drinking now forever." And this actually has been 10 years ago. I'm very proud of that, actually. People were laughing, and they actually were laughing for the next years. But now I am the last one laughing because I made it. I'm proud of myself that I quit drinking. And in my own impression, I can tell you that I have the feeling that my brain power actually exploded since then. This might have to do with getting an additional day for learning and doing my research compared to having to cure my headaches on a Sunday. So after all, for me, quitting alcohol altogether was a good decision. As you will see in this video, I am not going to tell you that you should stop drinking altogether. You can have your occasional drinks, but you should be aware what alcohol is doing to your body. So I know exactly how alcohol works, and I have made my own experiences. I have done Edward 40 hands. I have literally drank everything that can be bought in Austria which contains alcohol. But after several years of drinking, I found that it's not worth it. I want to be lean, I want to be muscular, and actually that's so much more than just to drink each week. To begin with, I actually have to make a confession. I lied to you. No, that's still tea. But there are actually 4 macronutrients. We have protein, carbs, fat, and alcohol. You might imagine why I actually was never mentioning alcohol. This is because it's bad for you, and you know it. If you have been drinking too much and you wake up in the next morning, you know exactly what happens. You get a headache and you are thirsty as hell. Alcohol is a toxin, and your body actually wants to get rid of it as soon as it enters. It changes the metabolism just to burn off and get rid of alcohol once it detects alcohol in your blood. And the problem with this is that your metabolism slows down when it comes to fat loss. Just 2 mixed drinks of vodka were shown to reduce your body's fat burning capabilities of 70%. That's a lot. That's almost all of your fat burning. So until you get rid of the alcohol in your blood, your body actually slows down your metabolism. Say goodbye to fat loss, because 70% is a lot. Of course, it will gradually fade, but you aren't just drinking 2 vodka shots, right? You are having 2 or 3 beers, some shots, and maybe something else. And that's a lot more alcohol. And if your body needs to get rid of this amount of alcohol, you actually might even cross out a whole day you could have spent for fat loss. And it's not only fat loss that's affected. There are also a lot of studies showing that your body slows down its protein synthesis, which means muscle growth. So you both burn less fat and build less muscle once you have alcohol in your blood. So if sugar is the big bad wolf, then alcohol is its gluttonous and disgusting little sister. Let's do a little thought experiment. The year obviously has 52 weeks. And if you're partying every week, just on one day, as people in their 20s actually do, and you're having more than just one little shot, then you're actually losing every Sunday of each week. So you're losing 52 days per year. This is equal to 1/7 of the whole year, in which you could actually have made pretty good progress. Sum that up for several years, and you actually lose a lot of muscle that could have been built, or fat that could have been lost. So just by reviewing the metabolic consequences of alcohol, it's actually not worth it if you want to build a ripped, lean and muscular physique. But wait, there's even more. Alcohol is actually pretty energy dense. In my previous videos, I told you that carbs and protein come with 4 calories per gram and fat with 9 calories per gram. Alcohol is almost as energy dense as fat because it has 7 calories per gram. The thing is, you're drinking alcohol and you rarely would actually sip on a can of olive oil, right? So you're ingesting a lot of so-called empty calories because there are no other nutrients in the alcohol that would do your body a favor. It's just the alcohol your body wants to get rid of and water. In some drinks you even have a lot of sugar, so nothing of that is going to help you with building muscle and losing fat. I had a quick internet search and found out that on average a 0.5 liter can of beer comes with around 200 calories. So if you are trying to lose body fat and you have a deficit of around 2,300 calories and you lose body fat on this calorie goal, just having a few drinks in addition to your normal diet can quickly diminish your efforts of a whole week, not even a day, of a whole week, because there's so much energy in alcohol. And of course you could just have 10 beers and that's it. You'll have around 2,000 calories and that would be enough to be in a deficit. However, you would not actually have any protein, carbs or fats, which you would actually need to be healthy and to build muscle. So alcohol is also not going to cut it when it comes to its energy content. And if you have been drinking, and with drinking I mean drinking a lot, you might have experienced that alcohol is giving you hunger flashes. And yes, there's research that shows that alcohol is an appetite stimulant. So it's not a coincidence that you might get hungry on your way home after a party. However, as you may infer, that's a big problem because not only are you ingesting a lot of calories just by drinking alcohol, you may even add a lot more calories because you get hungry by drinking. Let me quickly summarize. Alcohol is a toxin and it slows your body's capabilities to build muscle and lose body fat as long as it's in your system. Alcohol also comes with 7 calories per gram, which means it's pretty energy dense and it's easy to overeat or overdrink. It's also a potent appetite stimulant, which means that you get hungry when you're drinking, which might cause you to ingest even more calories. So the bottom line actually can only be, if you want to get the best results and build muscle and lose body fat the most efficient way possible, don't drink alcohol. And before you ask how I can say that alcohol is just bad for your body and that you shouldn't drink, when there are so many people preaching that wine is such a good thing for your health and for your heart, hear me out. First, of course, we have the negative effects on your muscle growth and your body fat. Alcohol can make you fat, which is obviously also bad for your health. But there is actually some research hypothesizing that there might be a link between beer and feminization in men, because beer contains so-called phytoestrogens, which are similar to the real estrogen hormones, and they can dock to the receptors in the male body. This actually has some negative effects on testosterone and might lead to feminization, which means man boobs and increased body fat levels. This research, I have to admit, is a bit outdated, and there is actually newer research on phytoestrogens, especially in soy, that does not really find a link between feminization and phytoestrogen consumption. So even if that's not the case and there is no link, that's good for soy, but it's still bad for alcohol because alcohol still contains a lot of calories. So it makes men and women fat, and that's bad for your health. And yes, we know for a fact from a ton of research that alcohol can have positive effects on health. So let me put on my glasses to look like a real doctor, to look smarter than I am, and to be able to read out the list to you, which I just can't remember after the third point otherwise. First, we see that alcohol can have positive influences on heart health, such as cardiovascular risk factors, or it reduces the risk for ischemic heart disease or for coronary heart disease. This might be the case because alcohol increases your heart rate and trains your heart, more or less. Then we also see improved concentration of fats in the blood, as well as improved insulin sensitivity. We also have better markers of inflammation. And there's a certain risk reduction of cancer, diabetes, and inflammatory liver disease. Then we also see increased bone density. And of course, alcohol has a relaxing effect. And in some cases, its appetite stimulation can be a good thing. And yes, alcohol can come with an increased quality of life. However, you know what else is giving you exactly these benefits, which might even be more pronounced and have also some additional benefits? Exactly, physical activity. Just moving. Want to improve your heart health? Do some cardio. Want to increase your bone density? Lift some heavy weights. Want to improve your inflammation markers and insulin sensitivity? Build some muscle. Want protection against cancers? Do cardio and lift heavy weights. Want to be more relaxed? Go all out in the gym and you will be the most relaxed person in the world. Want to improve your overall quality of life? I don't know about you, but having visible abs and being able to lift a ton of weight, maybe even at a high age, is giving me a lot of quality of life. After all, I want you to know that I am the last person in the world to propagate that you must stop drinking by all means to build the body of your dreams. Muscle growth and fat loss still works when you have a drink on occasion. However, you should know that drinking will always mean wasting some potential and losing some time. The most efficient way to build muscle and lose fat is just without alcohol. You need to make the decision yourself. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment below, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and please do me a favor. Support me and obliterate that like button. Send it to the sun and beyond. Make it explode for me. Please help me support this channel and help me to grow here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Can you hear my drums? No, it's not time for alcohol, but for the next video. See ya! It's even sugar-free, okay?